Welcome back. I've trimmed the panel, the repair panel, right down. I made one earlier, a couple of, I don't know, maybe 6 or 8 weeks ago. And if you saw the videos, you'd have seen me folding this around fire extinguishers and tapping this. But I really did believe I was going to need an enormous patch and the flange. But as it turned out, if you looked at the other videos, you'll be well aware, I've managed to save the flange and I've saved the curve. So all I need is the flat bit here and then a very, very small bit of radius. So this is scrap. What I've done, I've cut this. This is basically, it did have it had the fold, this fold here, and I've hammered that flat. And it does need sort of trimming to size, but once again, it's not a straight line. But the cutting is actually pulled out a lot of the shape. So we need the panel to be completely flat here, and I need a bit more of a curve. If you look at the difference, it's quite a radius there, and then that should be a little bit flatter than this. So that bit there needs to be flatter, but I need to keep that radius. And so yeah, here we go. Let's have a look. Which way around would it be? Like this. So yeah, I've got to keep that flat there, but I just need a bit more. You can see it rocks about. So I need a tighter radius on this. Because it's so small, I really don't have the strength in my hands to bend it. It's now too small to wrap around the fire extinguisher. I had plenty of leverage. So what I'm going to have to do is use a stretching hammer. This is a stretching hammer, and it's got a slight dome, just a slight dome to the head. Yeah, that one's very flat. No, this one will stretch. Now, if you stretch metal, it will bend. So what I'm going to do, let's have a look. Which bit do I need to stretch? This is the bit I need to stretch. I need to stretch this back side here. Now, if I bang the material on this solid weight here between the solid hammer, something's got to give, and the mild steel will give. And as you hit it, it stretches very, very slightly. And if you hit it, if you strike it and drag at the same time, it will stretch that way, and it will create a slight curve. It's going to make a hell of a row, and it's going to take about 15-20 minutes. But I'll give you an idea. I'll just sort of. Let's have a look in it. You've got to have the material dead on the, you can't be sort of, tapping like this. It's got to be completely flat. So you get a sharp tink. You don't want any fresh air between where you're hitting, where you're striking. So I'm not going to be able to do this all on camera. It's going to be noisy and it's going to take a long time, and the camera is rather in the way, and so is the lead. So I'll give you a sense. But so yeah, I need to keep that bit straight. So let's just get the this hammer's a little bit flatter. Let's start off getting this nice and flat. I can't hit it too hard, otherwise it will stretch and start to curve. But let me just tap out some of the curve. Yes, it's supposed to be straight. There is if I can get the light just right, there's a scribe. There it is. There's the scribe line. It's got to be flat up to that scribe line, and we're going to lose probably about 15 millimeters across here. It's not, but I'm making it larger so I can then sort of trim it back. But let me just. Oh, you carry on, my friend. Sorry, it's just somebody going to knock on the next door neighbour's delivery. I think I'll just carry on. Let me just take out the curve, and then if I take out the curve, and then I'll use another hammer, a stretching hammer, on this side. This is a stretching hammer. As I say, if I hit it just right, drag the hammer this way, it will stretch and it will get a nice little radius. So we don't want anything there. That's got to stay, and I need a much tighter radius here. In fact, I think I might need a smaller hammer. Let's have a look. I do have a smaller hammer. Let me see. I don't know. This one's got the correct profile, but it's massive. I think I might struggle with such a massive hammer. Nope, we're okay. Yeah, it's starting to go. But as I say to you, if I just sort of try and bash it this way, it'll be full of old dents. I've got to stretch it, and as I'm stretching it, rub the hammer. You can see the hammer dragging. I'm not just hitting, I'm hitting and dragging at the same time. Here we go. Ah yes, that's getting it's getting there, but it still needs to be a bit more. And the other thing is, if I force it, it will just buckle. It will just get a fold in it. I don't want a fold. I need to just carry on and do this the long way. Very noisy, I'm afraid. My neighbours love me. There we go. Now that's really starting to get a nice radius here. It's only about 50%. I need a bit more. It's just, if I just bend it, it will buckle here, and it will be like I need a sweep, but it's over a small area with no leverage. That's already been trimmed off. It was really easy if you saw the previous films when it was long and I could just bend it around a fire extinguisher to achieve the correct profile. But I'll just keep bashing away, and let's do a bit on this side. That's very, very, very flat. Let's do the opposite side and let's see what we can achieve. The camera's really in the way here, but never mind. So of course, that's straight away starting to get a bit of a curve. When you hit the metal and you trap it between the hammer and the weight, it's got nowhere to go other than to stretch. And it will, if it stretches, you can just guide which way that stretch goes. Yeah, it's coming. Like I said to you, we do need to keep the first half completely flat, and that's got a little bit of shape in it. I need to knock that out. There we go. But I'm going to stop this in a minute because the film's going to get very, very long and it's just very noisy. And as I said to you, the camera is rather in the way. I need to be able to move a bit more. What's happening is I'm spinning the metal around, it's banging on the camera. I can't sort of swizzle the metal around as I need to because it's tapping on the camera. So last little bit just to show you. Yep, that's definitely starting to get a nice sort of profile on it now. And it's very flat in the middle, and we've got a half decent profile on that side. So I'll spend another 10 or 15 minutes. As we can see, it dips down there, but obviously as I stretch that around, this will kick up and match the other two. So we're about halfway there.